All right, everyone, welcome to this video. This is one of my clients, Teresa. We started working together, what, five-ish months ago?
Something about that. Probably close, like on the way to six. Yeah.
Yeah, on the way to 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're gonna kind of walk through her story, and the progress that we've made so far and kind of what we're doing now. Yeah, if you want to kind of intro yourself, maybe how old you are, what you do for a living, and then kind of, yeah, where you were at whenever you stumbled upon me.
Yeah. So I am 39 years old, so pushing 40. So it's been a very challenging road over the last, almost decade, right? Like I started CrossFit very early on into my 30s. Many ups and downs, peaks and valleys, really, really good stuff, and then really, really tough stuff. So, like right when I found you, I was probably at the heaviest I had ever been. Um, since I got sober. So about almost about 14 years sober, and I was 163 pounds
Mhm.
when, or 162 pounds when I got sober, like about a year in. And then this time around, before I found you, I was 163 pounds. So not much different, about even, but really just like not feeling good about myself, not feeling good in my clothes, not feeling good in my performance in the gym. So what I do for a living, I am a quality assurance manager, and I work in the substance use disorder field. So I'm on like the back end of things, not necessarily client facing or patient facing anymore, but really ultimately the goal of helping others, much like you're doing with folks as well. So I love what I do and continuing to progress,
Yeah.
hopefully through that career.
Yeah, absolutely. But keeps you very, very busy, right? Like you're working, I mean, in office, right? This isn't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're and you have it's a pretty sedentary gig, right? A lot of women come to me and they're like, oh, well, I work from home and it's really sedentary. It's like that's most people and they have
sure.
I wouldn't say, super high pressure job, but everyone's job has a little bit of pressure, right? And expectations that come with it and busyness and extra hours, which we've kind of talked about. And so, yeah, so it sounds like when you started CrossFit, right, in your early 30s, and now, or like, but when you found me, it was kind of like, hey, like, we're kind of at the same weight, we're kind of struggling with the same kind of body composition. Obviously, you gained a ton of fitness, a ton of skills, right, doing CrossFit for that many years, but you were still like, I just don't feel like I look like I work out as hard as I do, right? Like I'm doing all these
Yeah.
hard workouts and like I don't really feel like I see it. And so what I guess made you, so what, let's start here. Where have you like, what have you tried in the past? Like, did you try tracking? Did you try working with another coach? Like, kind of walk me through what you tried before we started. I'm going to interrupt this video really, really quick. If you know you're someone that already needs help with this, right? Like you know that your body doesn't necessarily match the hard work that you're putting in the gym. You've probably tried tracking macros and fad diets and doing things that people told you to do that you follow on Instagram, but you really need something that's actually going to get you results. There's going to be a link down below this video to book in a call with me or my team to talk about coaching and see if it's the right fit for you. Really just see what's going on now, where you want to be, and see if we can actually help. So hit that link, schedule a time, and I will see you there. Enjoy the rest of the video.
Yeah. Very early on, I started working with a coach, probably too early in the CrossFit, to be completely honest, because I was just getting my bearings. But I started to count macros. I knew what macros were, but like really never did any of that stuff. Had some success, but ultimately at the end of the day, got really tired of like the weighing of the food, making sure like I'm a very all or nothing person. So it's like if it's not perfect and like one little thing happens, I like kind of fall off the deep end.
Mhm.
So I've done that. And then, fast forward without doing some of that, I tried it again
Mhm.
and then stopped again and then tried it again. So, just I know that like when I saw you and you said like, hey, how about I get you in the best shape of your life without having to count macros and weigh your food? And that's probably what made my ears perk up the most because like you said, it's very busy, chaotic, always running around. So it's like to be able to do something that's simpler, is definitely way more up my alley.
Totally, totally. And I think a lot of people come to me where they've tried macros, they've been weighing, measuring all their food on and off for like several years. Maybe they've worked with a coach before that gave them some macros and yada yada. But that's kind of like all they've experienced as far as like the coaching in the nutrition space, which is like, if like you and I both know, it's like you can look that up on the internet for free on your own. Like there's not a lot of coaching going on there. But what ends up happening is like people do that for years and they kind of are like, well, this is all I know. I hired this coach. This is all they gave me. And like, I don't really know what else to go from here, but I know that I don't want to keep doing this for the next, 30 years. I don't want to be 65 and weighing out my food, right?
Right.
Like, but without this, because this is all I've been, told and all I know, I feel like if I don't do this, I'm gonna have no structure and I'm gonna gain 10 pounds in a month. And so
Yep.
it's just this like it's this or it's nothing. And so people just kind of go back and forth between the tracking and nothing and tracking and nothing.
Mhm.
And so super, super familiar with that. So you said like saying, hey, like there's a simpler approach that gives you that structure without having to weigh and measure all of your food. And I guess like a big thing that I realize with women that I work with is like their relationship with food really changes when they don't have to like carry on the food scale and do like the MyFitnessPal for 20 minutes, like all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So talk to me about like, we'll get into body comp in a minute, but like with your relationship with food, how has that kind of shifted?
Yeah, it's shifted a lot. I mean, I know in the beginning you and I talked a lot about how if I was making the choice to eat something, that is more of a treat, I was getting very hard on myself. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is bad. I can't do this. And as time has gone on, that no longer feels like that because I know since like we've talked a lot as well, but like also just, people say things that are like sound very profound to you at that moment, but it's like, yeah, I knew that, right? But like when you hear it. So, just knowing to plan things out versus, just saying like, hey, today I'm gonna eat 7 cookies.
Right.
So that has been helpful. Obviously, there's times like where like I can't do that, or if like I'm in a mood for something, it's like, okay, I think about it and it's like, I'm not gonna like hurt myself for having this sweet.
Totally.
Because sweets are my weakness.
Same.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like I have a better relationship with food knowing that like, it's okay to, kind of plan some things around what you're doing. And the nice thing about it is like we talk about 90/10, right? But it's nice because it's like I'm not using that food scale, not using the macros, right? I'm also not saying is this definitely 90% and is this
Right.
definitely 10%? But
Right.
since I have the mindset of it and like I'm consistent elsewhere, it's like, okay, if it is 15%, right? Like, and I see something happen, like, okay, well, how do we like kind of think about that? But it's, definitely helpful to not have to like focus on like specifically like, okay, well, if you didn't do 90/10, like it's all gonna it's all
Right.
gonna be in
The crumble.
shambles, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which I think is like right where people go, right? It's like, oh, I messed up. Like I'm going to like gain all of this weight, or I'm not weighing and measuring everything, so I must like gain a ton of weight. And so yeah, I guess like about the more like the body comp side of things. Like where obviously we've seen some really cool stuff. So kind of talk to me like in your eyes, like about, the last 5, almost 6 months, how you've noticed obviously your body composition, clothes fitting, and like all the rest.
Yeah, definitely the most exciting part, obviously, because it's a lot of why we do what we do, right?
Mhm.
If I could eat all of the junk in the world and be fit, I would totally do it.
Yeah.
But really quickly, I ended up seeing changes, right? And I remember when we started, it was like right before I was going on vacation with family, and I was super nervous and like, did I start at the right time? Can I do this?
Yep.
And I remember coming back from that vacation and being like, hey, I lost X amount of pounds and I still indulged in some things, but I also was really mindful of things as well, like setting myself up, going to the food store, saying no to something. And like the mentality I try to have, and my aunt actually taught me this is like, you know what it tastes like. And it's
Mhm.
like, Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
So do I need it?
right.
But yeah, I mean, seeing that change, even with not being all in,
Yeah,
really helped me kind of like catapult forward into, feeling like, oh, I want to do more, right? So, at that point in time, like I wasn't like suffering as much with the injury of the neck and back, and nerve stuff. So like I was really into, like my fitness routine as well. But even without that, like you and I have talked, like, I have still been able to maintain or even lose weight while doing less work, right? And that, obviously is just kind of, paying attention and maybe being a little bit more mindful of things. But not only like has the body comp changed, like I've gotten on, I remember my first in body when I got on the in body for the first time since I think like January of this year, where I was like at my heaviest and I was down, I want to say like almost 8 pounds or something on the scan, and my muscle had maintained itself. My body fat percentage went down. And I remember doing the scan with the owner of my gym, and he was like, this is like really cool to see because like it was just such a big difference, right? Like if I'm scanning myself every 6 or so weeks, like I'm not going to see that large of a change. But since it was like the first time, it was like super exciting. I'm now at a weight that is the lowest since I began CrossFit almost 8 years ago. And that's wild to me. Like at first the goal was like get down to wedding weight, right? And that
yep,
was 147. And then it was like, okay, like I haven't been 145 since I started CrossFit. And then I got there and it was like, wow, like I'm literally at a place that I never thought I would be again.
yep,
I'm even in that limbo right now with like if I have to buy clothes, I'm like, am I this size? Am I
yep,
this size? And then like I bought a pair of pants and like I still have to return them because they're huge. And I'm
yeah,
like, I'm just still in the mindset that I'm bigger than I am. But it's a journey and like figuring those things out, obviously figuring those things out. And but it's definitely been really cool to see not only the ability to maintain muscle, see progress in the gym, even with not being at full capacity. Like we talked about that run from last night. Like
yep,
I haven't ran straight through for almost 2 miles in probably since I began CrossFit.
yep,
So yeah, so it's super cool to see other things besides just my body change. As well, with like athletic performance. So it's really just been like a really cool journey. It keeps me motivated to want to keep going, like, even through the holidays, like not really super worried or, oh gosh, something's gonna happen because,
yep.
I'm definitely still locked in and I know that like if I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm gonna continue to see body comp results and that's the goal. So
100%, 100%. Yeah, tell me more about because we're down like what, almost 20 pounds, right?
yes.
So which is incredible.
Yep.
And like I remember you messaging me about like I'm back to like my wedding weight, which is like our initial goal whenever we first
Yeah.
started. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm just like so excited for her. Like
Yeah.
just being able to be like, I'm back at my, wedding weight. Like when I like got my dress fit and like I had
Yep.
that day. Just super cool to like get back to that and like feel good, right? Like, anyone can like put someone in a calorie deficit and make them lose, 3 pounds a week, and like you're gonna get on an assault bike or try to like pull something heavy off the ground, and you're like, it's gonna feel like crap. And you're gonna gain it all back, right? And so like this is something that has like been sustainable progress, like just every like week after week, check-in after check-in, we just are like, yep, keep seeing progress. Like it keeps like, and we just keep seeing it, which is like why it's been like very sustainable. It's because we're not trying to like plummet down to this wedding
Yep.
weight in a month. It's like we really took time and like gave you the structure to like, hey, let's do that and let's do it in a sustainable way. So you're actually able to keep it that way, right? And so now we're able to be at this, body composition, and weight that you feel good in your clothes and all of that. And we're actually able to focus and drive towards the performance side of things. So kind of
Yep.
tell people kind of where or what we're doing with the performance side of things now that we're at this body comp.
Yeah. So a lot of what we're doing is, things focus around the injury right
Yeah,
now, but I remember when I first initially lost some of the weight, like I felt like we talked, I was like, I feel like my strength isn't all there, right? And I was like,
Hmm.
I think just getting used to being a different size.
Yep.
And now I've like noticed like we just did like I think it was a 3 rep back squat max or something like that or five something. And I was able to hit like pretty close to what I've hit before, for 5 or 3 or whatever it was. And like it was really cool because like somebody said to me in the gym, they were like, well, you didn't lose the muscle even though you lost the weight. And it was like, yeah, but it's like you almost kind of feel like I got to get used to the new skin I'm in essentially. Cause
Mhm.
like, it's different. Like when
Totally.
you are proportioned, otherwise, like you're relying on different places of your body and where the fat or the muscle is. So when you shrink down, even though the muscle's still there, it's like, okay, like I got to
It's
figure this
different.
out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely different. So, um, haven't really obviously been able to do all of the fun, exciting, strong things that I was able to do in the beginning. And definitely working on getting back there. But we've been maintaining obviously with some of that more like skill work and some lifting in there, which has definitely surprised me shockingly with like where I kind of end up. I think that what the first thing we did together, I like it was like a heavy front squat. I think like a 3 rep max front squat. And I was like, holy crap, I didn't think I was gonna go that high. Like I just
Yeah.
kept feeling good. So I was like, okay, just keep going.
Yep.
And like another part of it being like my body is being nourished the correct way.
Totally.
Like you said about like not plummeting. It's just like, it's a marathon, not a sprint type thing. And I see so many people, like you said, like they end up back where they were when they were doing like fad diets
Yep.
or just kind of trying to lose it all really quickly
Yep.
and I love in the CrossFit community that it's a lot about like just eat the right foods,
Yep.
not like hey do this diet real quick and you'll be thinner. um
No quick.
so I do love that I got into a place that like promotes that essentially versus telling me to do something else and then
Yeah,
losing
totally.
everything.
Totally, totally. And I honestly think like truly, the nutrition coaching industry is kind of set up for like traditionally for people to have this really dramatic like before and after in like a
Yeah.
3 month period because coaches put their athletes in a huge calorie deficit and usually it's people that don't do CrossFit but because that wouldn't work well but these huge calorie deficits, right? And then they get this crazy before and after picture, but it's just not sustainable for the
Yeah.
client. So then they're ending up, 3 months later, they're right back where they were whenever they hired the coach. And so it's not a win really for anybody if that client isn't doing something that's sustainable. Like why do it, right?
Right.
And that's what I love about working with CrossFitters is like, yes, of course we dial in the body composition side of things. We really work on our relationship with food, but also like the performance side of things. Like what are we doing in the gym, right? Like our
Mhm.
skills, our strengths, our endurance, like all of those things that, we talk about in check-ins and like that we care about, right? It's like, yeah, I want to, feel a little bit better in my clothes and like not have as much belly fat and etc. But I also want to be able to like get my first strict pull up at, 47 or whatever it is. Like that's
Yep.
cool. Like that's badass. And so
Yeah.
it's cool to
More
help.
muscle up, hopefully, when I'm
Yes.
better.
Yes. Once
Finally, after 8 years.
the nerve pain. And so yeah, it's just so cool to work with people that like inherently like we kind of get it. Like people that do CrossFit just kind of like I can't tell you how many people, I work with that like immediately when we start working together, they're like, yeah, I don't really care what the number on the scale says. I just want to look better. I want to feel more confident. I want to gain these skills in the gym. And like it's just so cool. Like
Yeah.
everyone is already on the same page, which is amazing. Um, so next question. Um, there's obviously a lot of coaches out there, right? The online space just gets more saturated by the day. There's more and more coaches, claiming that they can help people and etc. What would you say to someone that was like where you were whenever you found me and we started, working together? That is like, okay, they're doing CrossFit, 3, 4, 5 days a week, and they feel like they're eating like pretty healthy. They've done the tracking and all of that. They see all these coaches online. right? Like, what would you say to someone that's like checking, maybe checking out my stuff, but it's like kind of on the fence of like, should I pay this girl that I saw on Instagram? Like, what would you tell them?
Yeah, yeah, because it's a risk, obviously. Like when you see
Totally.
anybody online, and it could be really, really great, and it can be really, really not great.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you know if you can really feel like that engagement with somebody? So I would probably say, like, taking the risk on yourself is way better than staying where you are. I've learned that a lot the hard way over the years, just kind of staying stuck, and not taking a leap. I feel like you can take a leap, right? And if it doesn't work for you, then you can stop doing what you're doing, right? Like, but if you're doing all these things in the gym, you're eating fairly healthy, you're, coming 3 to 5 times a week and you're not seeing progress, and you do see a bunch of stuff online, like, I'm the proof, obviously, of you. And I feel like you're almost kind of like when you work with somebody and you see results and you get what you need, it's like you're almost kind of like a walking sales pitch, because
Yeah.
it's like, people will ask you, how did you do it? Or like, oh my gosh, you look great. And it's like, well, let me tell you.
Mhm.
And I just kind of tell them, like, hey, like, this has been the only thing really that has worked for me. Obviously, there's some kind of willingness that has to come with it, right?
Totally.
Because like you and I have talked, like, where I was kind of like, hey, I'm just eating these foods right now. And I, like, yeah, I'm aware of it, but like, I know I'm like teetering towards going the wrong direction if I don't kind of think about going the right direction. But since we check in with each other so frequently, I have the ability to be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this right now, or I'm doing too much of this. And I have that engagement with you, which
Totally.
is really great. So, like, I would tell somebody, like, you're going to meet with this person twice a month, you're going to be able to talk to them. Like, I know you and I have spent more than the 20 minutes allotted on our calls plenty of times, which, shows me you care, right? Like, it's not like, okay, great, got another
Yeah.
person, gotta
Yep.
go.
Yep.
And it's helped me get to know you better, right? Like, I oversee people, so it's like I'm a very big believer in like getting to know people and understanding them and being transparent. Because if you don't, like, how are you going to trust each other,
Yeah.
type thing. So like that risk taking, right? It's like, oh, it's scary, and oh, I don't know this person, but like, how many other times in my life have I had to get to know somebody and see if it works, right? Like,
Right.
whether it's a work related thing, or friend related thing, or anything, or coaching, you kind of have to, like, just take the risk and take the leap. And I'm just going to continue to be the walking slogan,
Love it.
essentially.
I
I do
totally
air quotes a lot, I notice.
I love it. The walking slogan. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really really cool to be able to work with women like yourself that like commit, right? Like that really like dive into the experience and like are coachable, right? Like actually are coachable and willing to try something new and willing to not like, okay, I'm gonna like put this food scale away and like I'm actually going to like listen to this new way and new structure and like just leaning into that process. It isn't easy, right? Especially, is when we're just getting started and we're like just getting to know each other and that trust isn't like really really built yet. We don't have that relationship, but like it's really cool being able to coach women like you that are really really coachable and just lean into it, and obviously trust the process because it works if you work, right? And
Yep.
so when you put in the work like you have over the, I mean, almost 6 months, obviously like we're 20 pounds down, we're maintaining strength, like we're all of the data is supporting that everything's going in the right direction, we're back at
Yep.
wedding weight. And so it's really cool just watching people like be coachable, trust the process, and like just see what happens on the other side of that. It's super super
Yeah.
cool. I appreciate
Yeah.
you. I appreciate you doing
Yeah.
that, and doing this and just taking the time,
Sure.
and yeah, just sharing like your story because honestly, I know there's uh you know I mean so many women out there, right, that we're kind of in that place where you were, where they're like, I'm doing all these really hard workouts, like I
Yeah.
don't, I come home and like I've been doing CrossFit for 8 years and I'm still
Yep.
30 pounds overweight. I have a really, high pressure, career and I'm running kids around and like I'm like doing all these things. And like that's just a really frustrating place to be. So
Yeah.
if we can help, more people get out of that, like that's the goal.
Yeah. That's the goal, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Of course. Thank you.